Welcome, Alex, to the Tourism Matters podcast. Thank you for being here with me today.
Thanks for having me, Carmen. This is really exciting.
Yeah, I am very excited about this. So this is the first Tourism Matters episode that I'm recording, really focusing on the business of tourism and the founder stories and entrepreneurship in tourism, as opposed to sort of the career types of stories that and conversations I've had so far. So I'm very excited to hear your story and hear what your businesses are all about today. So thank you.
Awesome.
But before we get into the conversation, as I always do, I have a couple of very quick get to know you questions because I do not know you, Alex, and I'd like to get to know you a little bit better.
Awesome.
And so would my listeners. So when you're flying, Alex, and I feel like you probably do this a bit or have at least done it in the past, are you aisle seat, middle seat, or window seat? What's your seat selection?
I'm window seat every time. Yeah,
Window.
I'm all about the views and the above cloud vibe from up there.
Yeah.
Window seat every time, and I'm often gutted if I get an aisle seat because I'm looking at the window so much.
How do you feel about pushing people aside when you've got to get up? You okay with that?
You just try not to drink too much, don't do the bathroom too much.
Okay.
That's the way. That's the trick.
All right. And then tell me, once you've arrived at your destination and Alex, you are at the hotel buffet breakfast in the morning, where are you going? What's going on your plate? What are you selecting?
Am I on holiday or am I on a work trip?
I want to go holiday. I feel like that might be a little bit more, let's be outside of the norm.
Yeah, love this. This is great. It's really wintry and rainy here in Auckland. So this is fun. I'm going to say like a mimosa and an omelette and a view is probably what I'd say at the buffet breakfast. Is that too much?
Right.
Can you do that on holiday as well?
No. Yeah, absolutely. Although I always, and I've disclosed this a number of times, I don't eat. And actually, I think I had a good chat with Zach when he was on the podcast about the Danish at the buffet breakfast and how I never at any other point in my life ever would eat a Danish. But if there's one on a hotel buffet, it is going on my plate in the morning. And I don't know why. I don't know. It's just a thing.
It's a treat. It's an out of routine treat, right? I don't drink mimosas on a normal morning, just to clarify. Okay.
Yeah, and I would just like to say there actually, at no point ever when I have asked this question, which is, 2 or 3 dozen times now, has anyone ever asked to stipulate, am I working or am I on holiday?
Well, surely the meal is different, right? Surely the morning vibe is quite a different, there's a different energy there.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Oh, that's me. Yeah, also 100%. But quickly before we actually move on, I want to know now, you're traveling for work, which I'm sorry is not so exciting. What does that breakfast look like?
Oh, that's really boring, right? That's all just protein and coffee and probably some fruit. And it's probably quite rushed over some last minute emails or prep before I run out to the conference or the pitch or whatever it is.
Okay. All right.
Work, Alex, is not nearly as fun as holiday, Alex.
I challenge you next time, just add the mimosa in before the conference.
Just walk into the pitch like fully high on life.
Fully high on life and then fully asleep.
Yeah. And then by midday it's all done, right? Yeah, amazing.
I do feel like I get to know. I know you a lot better now, Alex. So thank you.
Okay, good. These are great questions, by the
way. I keep asking them every episode, and I'm determined to find somebody that wants to sit in the middle seat.
Yes. Yeah. You have not found one yet, then, huh?
No, I don't think anyone does. But
I feel like a mother, if they're flying with 2 wee kids by themselves, could plonk themselves in the middle.
In the middle. All right, I'll keep going.
I mean, I can't think of any other scenarios that could justify it, right?
No. All right, well, thank you. So I would like to go back to young Alex just briefly. Where did you grow up, Alex, and what did your kind of early years look like?
I grew up out by the beach in East Auckland, so out in Bucklands Beach, Howick area. I went to Maclean's College. I was like a sporty nerd, if that makes sense. So I was sports captain, but also quite nerdy. I was a rower, so my entire life was was all about training for rowing and rowing races, which took up a lot of years and a lot of time at high school.
Right.
And yeah, so love my sports and loved academics really. Some people say, "Oh, I don't know what school's even for. I didn't really enjoy it at all." And I'm like, "Oh, I was so sad when it was over because it was wicked." So yeah, that was high school, and then I went to university at Waikato Uni down in Hamilton. I did communications. Found my undergrad super boring and not very inspiring. Did lots of rowing there as well, which I loved. And then did a year of journalism at AUT as a postgrad back in Auckland. So none of my background was tourism, but it was all very people and communications and media and marketing focused. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have a vision of sort of what you wanted your career to look like at that point, Alex? Or
I wanted to be a war journalist like Maggie from Blood Diamond. So I watched that movie back in high school, and I just fell in love with that character. And I told Mum I wanted to go into war journalism and work for one of the big media companies. And anyway, long story short, I was almost at the end of my postgrad at AUT and met up with a friend for drinks who worked for Tourism New Zealand at the time. And he said, "You should go for this awesome consumer websites editor role. It's a junior role. It's a entry-level grad role. I think you'd be great." So I threw my hat in the ring and sat through a couple of really scary, grueling interviews and ended up getting the role. And it probably changed the entire trajectory of my career, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think some of those, I guess, sliding door moments early on in your lifetime really, really can, spin you off in random directions you never thought.
100%. Like if I
Yeah.
hadn't had that drink, I don't know how or if I would have got into this amazing industry. So it was all meant to be, but that was kind of the start of my passion for the visitor economy and everything I've done since then.
Okay.
So yeah.
Alex, can we just put a timestamp on this? What sort of year are we looking at here?
Yeah, so this would
Roughly.
be 2011.
Okay.
So I'm
Yeah.
21. I'm
Yeah.
21.
Okay.
Just TNZ were quite flexy with letting me finish my postgrad as well in journalism. So I finished the last couple of months part-time, but 21 at this point, Carmen.
And I know that we're here to talk about business, but can you just flesh that out? That's quite an interesting, and because it's sort of a entry level kind of grad role.
Yeah.
What was your job? What did you do?
Yeah, totally. So I was helping to manage all of the content and campaign activity hitting newzealand.com, right? Which is obviously Tourism New Zealand's consumer facing website arm. And so I looked after certain Western markets, and I would ensure that the content and the user experience on newzealand.com for those markets really was on the money from a consumer type or consumer targeting perspective.
Right.
And really help to nurture deeper engagement with brand New Zealand, destination New Zealand, and help to drive as many conversions as possible. And a conversion was relatively soft because it was a destination brand, obviously. But it was my first foray into tourism, and we remember working on the Hobbit trilogy. As a big kind of activation event and multi-year campaign with the team, and just I couldn't, I was like 22 at the time, and I was like, this is amazing. I can't believe I get paid to do this,
Oh wow, okay.
So it was, that was the role, but lots of collaboration with operators as well. So helping them show up really beautifully on newzealand.com in ways that drove interest and conversions from offshore potential guests to their brand and to their offering. So lots of kind of industry collab as well.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Oh, that does sound very interesting. I can't imagine that you graduated like just knowing how to do all of this. Am I incorrect there? Like, was there a steep learning curve?
It was, yeah, there was a steep learning curve, honestly. In the first couple of weeks, I didn't even know how to use Outlook or like calendar invites or anything. So,
Mm,
my lovely team was very patient with me. But, and I also feel like, public sector and, regional roles or destination roles are really great as a first step into the industry because it's not quite, it's not as cutthroat as private sector is. And you learn a lot about all the different stakeholders and distribution and how everything kind of fits together, almost from like I want to use the word safer, but that's not quite right. From a slightly more relaxed place versus private sector, sorry, where it's very kind of
yep.
fast paced and cutthroat and you need to,
Mm,
it's day one and why can't you set your Outlook up, Alex? This is useless kind of thing.
yeah.
So public sector was quite a lovely first step for me into what the
Yeah.
industry was all about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true, actually. I worked at Tourism Auckland back in the day for the Rugby World Cup, and that was my first. So that was after already being in the industry for probably 10 years. And I must say, working at Tourism Auckland, it was a completely different vibe from, being in the private sector for my
Yeah.
entire career after that. And such a huge, you're right, you get exposure to,
So
um,
much.
yeah, so much like industry wide,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
collaboration stakeholders.
Yeah, you're
Um,
so much more siloed, I think, in private,
mm,
whereas public, you're so exposed to so much, and that's a
yeah.
great place to start.
Yeah, that's a good point for any of those kind of early career listeners out there that are sort of wondering how they're going to get their foot in the door.
Yeah, totally.
Um, all right, so that's about 2011, and Maverick started in 2014. Is that right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
So,
so
do you want to know about
yeah,
that
talk.
story?
Yep, yep. Talk to me about
Because
that.
that's quite a bit of an adventure. So while I was at TNZ, I really wanted to go traveling. So I was both loving my role, but also saving pretty aggressively to be able to go overseas. You finish your study, you finish your degree, you've got your first job, and then you kind of want to go spread your wings. So my boyfriend at the time, now husband, bought one-way flights to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. And I left Tourism New Zealand in 2014 to jump on this flight. But before I left, I had a bunch of coffees with a couple of operators based in Auckland, and they were like, "Well, have you thought about continuing to work in digital marketing for tourism, because that was kind of the space that I was in, while you're overseas? Like, would you consider doing a bit of SEO work for us, doing some performance marketing, looking at our socials? Would you be open to continue, collaborating even when you're offshore?" And I was like, "Oh, this is amazing," because this was
Yes.
very early remote work days, right? Like 2014, people didn't work from home. People barely worked remotely. I mean, travel blogging was like in its infancy, right?
Yep.
So I thought, oh my goodness, this is amazing. I can keep one foot in the industry I love, keep working with these awesome brands, and pay for my travels while I'm overseas. Oh my goodness. So I said yes. I said yes. And that was the start of Maverick. And yeah, yeah.
Do you think that you would have been in any way inclined to do that had you not been heading overseas, or do you think that you would have just probably stayed at TNZ and
I
I
think,
guess the underlying question there, sorry, is more around like your sense of entrepreneurialism. Is that a word?
yeah, yeah,
It is now. Yeah.
yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
word. Um,
Entrepreneurialism.
yeah. I always feel like I was kind of called to, I guess, dance to my own tune a little bit, like, public sector and, working in a team for a boss, all those things were awesome. But, there was some frustrating elements to it as well, at times. I kind of really love the idea of the freedom that came with entrepreneurship, I guess. Calling your own shots, only having yourself to rely on, being responsible for, how you grow your business and the quality of work that you deliver and the niche that you carve for yourself. So I had always been interested in it and open to it for sure. I don't know if I would have started it so early had I not had these conversations with these operators. I don't know if I would have had the confidence to, really dive in whole hog had I not started this overseas. Because we got back from South America about 9 months later, at the end of 2014, just before Christmas. And I said to my partner, I said, I don't think I want to get a job. I think I want to try and see what I can do here. Maybe get more clients, maybe polish the offering, all that kind of thing. And he was like, well, that's cool. I've got your back, for 6 months or whatever. If you fail, you can always get a job. It's no big deal. So there was a bit of a crossroads when I got home. It was, do I go and get a job somewhere and go back into employment, or do I kind of give this more of a crack? And that's again, sliding door. That is the approach I took. And then, and that was the official founding of Maverick, so to speak.
Yeah. So how old are you then?
24.
Wow.
Yeah, 24.
That's amazing. And so did you sort of put that sort of 6 month, like I'm giving it this block of time to see if I can make this a viable thing? And if it doesn't, so I think that can be a really powerful thing for an early stage entrepreneur to do is, or someone that's kind of on the fence. And I don't know, like you were in a situation where you weren't thinking about leaving employment, you'd already left employment. And, but if there's people out there that are like, oh, I don't know if I leave my job or don't leave my job, or I really want to do this business of my own, but kind of giving it a chunk of time to be like, if by X date I'm not generating X amount of revenue, then I need to pack it up. And so, that was your kind of
totally
thinking?
Well, I think our goals and our work expands to fill the amount of time that we give it, right? So I knew that if I didn't make a real go of it, and within 6 months, if this wasn't viable, then I would need to look at something else. I also think what helped is that I was 24. We were in a flat. I had my partner, so we weren't. I didn't have massive costs, right? Like I wasn't paying off a mortgage. So I didn't have a mortgage to pay. I didn't have these big outgoings to pay. So like, success back then was just paying the rent and paying, a bit of food and whatnot. I didn't have all these huge costs to think about, which I think was a good thing because it meant I could build it up slowly rather than have, big outgoings hanging over my head. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, and that's such a pro in the column of being a young person and taking a risk. You've got, the ability, if it's pre-parenthood and having a mortgage, like you said, and getting too far into your career for that to sort of, to settle in and maybe get attached to a salary. Yeah, but still, huge thing to do. When you're early on in life. So kudos to you for taking the leap. So what did the early days of Maverick look like then, Alex? So it's kind of you out there consulting yourself?
Yeah. So I was really all about trying to help operators build their direct sales through digital. So that was kind of the niche that I carved for myself. And back in 2014, operators like Hobbiton still didn't have websites that were responsive on mobile, right? Live booking availability was only just coming into play. OTAs were already pretty aggressive, but still relatively in their infancy. And there were kind of all these new technological changes being thrown at operators to help them connect with their guests and sell bookings and sell seats. But they were pretty overwhelmed in terms of knowing what strategy to take, what to prioritize. So that was the early days of Maverick, was helping more operators strategically drive direct sales, so to speak. So, I always knew that trade sales are large, OTA sales are always going to be in the mix, but showing them how to connect with potential customers directly, nurture them through to booking, and then enjoy that commission-free amount of revenue, which was it's a big deal, especially for smaller operators, the commissions that they pay to trade and to third parties. So that was the initial focus of Maverick, and I probably was a lot stronger in the content and storytelling and SEO side of things than I was in the performance marketing and all of the advertising and the data-led work initially, simply because that was my background at Tourism New Zealand. And that was what I knew. So I kind of spent the first few years building up that side of the business. I focused a lot on Rotorua as a region to build up initially. Simply because I could get there and back in a day and see 5 or 6 people and just do this massive day and be there face to face to talk to people. So that was the initial area. Yeah,
okay. I was going to ask that question as to sort of how you went about sort of building the business in those early days and how you got operators on board. And
lots of face-to-face stuff and lots of referrals, which was cool. So we didn't I didn't really do any outbound strategic marketing myself, which is hilarious given that was my vocation. It literally just grew by word of mouth. And that was how things began in the early years. A bit of a game changer for Maverick was a very good friend and her husband moving home from the UK in early 2018 this was. And he was like, "Oh, you're in digital marketing. That's what I used to do back in the UK. Could I help you at all with a few tasks while I get a job back in New Zealand?" And helping with a few tasks ended up me offering Tim a full-time job and him asking to buy into the business.
Wow.
And so that was in 2018. And Tim is like the business yin to my yang, right? Tim is all about data and insights and attribution and performance and development code and all of those things that wasn't, I would do them, but it wasn't my strength. And so once Tim came on board, that really supercharged things because we suddenly had that skill set in the business. And so together we were a bit of a force, really. And that's when we that's when we began to experience pretty fast growth in the agency, which was really cool.
Was he your first, I guess, hire then, Alex? Did you have anyone else on board?
Yeah, he was my first kind of official employment hire. I worked with lots of contractors up until that point, but I hadn't really pulled the trigger on an official team member. And so, it was another real turning point in the growth of the company and the amount of people we were able to reach and do a great job for in terms of moving the needle. So, yeah.
And I guess without being an expert in that space, is that just so having him on board, was that bringing additional services that you could provide to existing customers, or did this open up a whole other realm of clients?
Yeah, it opened up a whole nother realm of clients, essentially. So it really strengthened the performance arm of the business.
Okay.
And suddenly we could run pretty big multi-layered, high-performing campaigns at scale. And so, the types of operators we were able to go after and onboard were pretty different compared to the first couple of years when it was just me.
Okay.
For example, Tim and I landed a Hobbiton movie set in, oh my gosh, I think that was early 2019, I'm going to say. So that was when we began working with Shane and Lily and Russell and the team. And they're still our clients today. And we adore them and we adore the journey that they've been on. So,
wow.
Yeah, having Tim was a very much a game changer in terms of how this business would grow and what we could do for industry. Yeah.
Wow. Did
Yeah.
that, it's quite a big thing. It's a big thing to go from 0 to 1 in terms of, entrepreneurship. And then it's a whole other realm to then, I guess, have a partner or employee. Did that feel like a big and scary thing to do, or was it kind of just a natural?
It felt really natural, and it got to the point where I was like, this guy is brilliant, and he's making such a big impact on my business. I cannot lose him. I partnering with him felt like a no-brainer.
Okay, good.
And I just didn't want to lose him, and wanted to make sure that he didn't go looking for a proper job.
Yeah.
and stuck with Maverick and helped me to build this cool little marketing agency. So yeah.
Proper job in a proper business.
A proper business in a proper industry, all those things. So yeah.
All right. What does Maverick look like then post Tim? So he's come on board and kind of supercharged things or opened up a whole other realm of clients. So what does the journey look like after that, Alex?
Oh my goodness. Once Tim was on board as a partner, we probably added another staff member every, I'm going to say 4 months.
Wow.
Every 4 months, 3 months even. So we hired an amazing lady called Kelly Hookie, who still now works for us. She was our first employee after Tim. So Kel still works. She's our performance lead. Love her. And then literally every 3 to 4 months after that. So by the time 2020 hit, we were maybe 7 people. So me and Tim plus 5, I'm going to say. So the growth over those 2 years was just epic. It's a very, very exciting time to be in business. And I kind of got the bug for sales and meeting new people and, that awesome feeling when you do a wicked job for somebody and they recommend you to 5 others kind of thing. At that point, I felt like we were making a real name for ourselves in the industry and making a real positive difference in the way that operators went after their direct sales and the way that they showed up online. Yeah.
To go from Alex to, hiring, as you're saying, one employee every 4-ish months, given that the nature of this podcast is around careers and business, can we just double click a little bit there on what is your process when you're hiring new staff and what are you looking for? What sort of things kind of set an applicant apart? Because we all know that it can be a painful and soul-destroying process for both employees and employers, the recruiting.
I know.
So what have you kind of maybe developed, if that's the right word, or what's your approach, I guess, when hiring?
So for us, cultural fit is the most important thing. Tim and I decided early on that we would have, I hope I can say this. If I can't say this, just edit it out. We decided we would have a no dickheads policy. So we would never work with dickheads in terms of clients, and we would never hire dickheads in terms of team members. Working for yourself and building a business is really, really hard. And it's an absolute nightmare if you're not working with good people. Good people make all the difference. And so with that no dickheads policy, we kind of built our approach to recruitment and hiring and employer brand and all of these good things. Being a pretty small startup, we knew that we couldn't we couldn't offer all the massive corporate perks of larger tourism businesses or larger marketing roles. So we worked really hard to ensure Maverick was a really, really cool place to be. And that meant that we always hired for cultural fit rather than skill set. That's what we looked for. So if you were a really cool person with a passion for tourism, you were curious, you had good energy, you were really interested in learning about how we worked, then that was always a real green flag for us. Bonus if you also had some or all of the skills that we were looking for, but the cultural fit piece is number one, because you can teach skills and you can teach all of those things, but it's really, really hard to teach a vibe, and it's really hard to teach to ask somebody to change the way that they are or the way that they feel about the industry.
Okay.
So that kind of approach meant that we became surrounded by really, really epic humans really, really early on. And that's made a massive difference to the way that we can attract and recruit new staff members. Even now, like the social and content role we've got in market right now, I think we had 105 applicants when I looked this morning.
Wow.
So that kind of employer brand and that no dickheads policy, I want to work with awesome humans, has permeated everything since the start, really. Yeah.
Do you have any nifty ways of like gauging dickheads or or assessing cultural fit for maybe
trying to ask people, seeing how people react when you ask them curly questions and ask them to think on their toes, always including real good left field get to know you questions like you just did at the beginning of this podcast, right? So tell me about your favorite place to travel. What does your dream holiday look like? Where's the most memorable place you've ever been? All of those things say a lot about the type of person you're hiring. I don't know. I guess it's more around energy when you interview them, and then references. References are so important, and I learned that early on. Just thinking the fit was so good that we didn't even bother doing references, and that did not work out very well, Alex. So always call the references and be candid with them as well.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we probably have a good radar for cultural fit now. Zach will walk out of an interview and he'll be like, "Yep, that's our lady. We got her. That's her." Like he will just know, I think.
Okay.
So, yeah,
it's the vibe.
Just the vibe. I mean, that sounds so like airy fairy, but it's just the vibe.
No, I'm all about the vibe. And I love that you just touched on there. I won't dig into it, but that employer brand, I really try and drive that home anytime anyone will give me an opportunity to speak about it, or when I'm talking to a operator. In that, as you just put so beautifully, in our industry, sometimes, and especially if you're a small or medium-sized business, like most of our tourism businesses are in Australia and New Zealand, we might not be able to offer the highest wages, especially where I'm sitting in Western Australia. We always, the mining industry is just there looming, going, hey, come and work for me. So, we might not have the high salaries. We might not have the hybrid and remote working flexibility that other industries have. So it's so important for a operator to work on their employer brand constantly.
And that's stuff like, that's even stuff like making sure your socials reflect how fun it is in the office, right? Like, I don't know, we have good fun with our TikTok channel sometimes. And, there's no like, what's the commercial value of this post? It's just like, oh, this is hilarious. We need to post it. Like it's that kind of a thing. It's having internal rituals that keep people grounded and acknowledge really, really good work. Like we do a MVP once a month where everybody votes for who was the legend of that month, and you have to say why you're voting for that person, and then they get a wee token of thanks of their choice, and that's so cool because we start the beginning of the month with Zach reading out 12 I think nominations for MVP for the month, and it's just a really cool way to start a new month by acknowledging all the wicked work that went on the month before. And now we do, we do so much across so many different partners. Often you won't know about really good work that's happening on a different side of the business because you weren't involved in that project.
Right.
So it's a way to kind of call out really, really good work and uphold high output standards, I guess, uphold high quality outputs,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean, that's really formal, but there's, we have a lolly jar in the office, and it is hilarious how much faster that lolly jar goes down when we're all a bit stressed and it's been an intense week. Or I don't know. There's all little things that you can do to make a workplace fun when you're small and quite a youthful, energetic place to work.
Yeah.
But yeah, the employer brand and also I think when a staff member leaves your business, which that they will, that's how life happens. Letting them leave, or helping them to leave on really, really good terms is important as well, because everybody who leaves your business is essentially a brand ambassador for the future people you might employ. So the last thing you want them to say is, oh my God, this role was so hard. I had no support. I was so overwhelmed. The office vibe was terrible. I couldn't wait to get out of there. That's the last thing you want them to tell people. So treating not just clients but also staff and your team as brand ambassadors for the future is really important, I think, to create a cool workplace and sustain that employer brand.
Yeah. You're making me want to come and work for Maverick Tourism. Sounds great. I need a perpetual
Really
lolly
fun,
jar.
Carmen. We've got a cool rollout right now.
Of which I have absolutely no business applying
Yeah,
for.
but the vibe's good, so we'll take
the vibe.
The vibe's great.
Here for the lolly jar.
Yeah, here for the lollies, guys. And the payday lunches. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I've derailed us a little bit there, but one of the key reasons that I've started having these discussions with founders and entrepreneurs is to sort of pull that curtain back a little bit and try and get a little bit of idea sharing, or, what are you doing over there that's working for you? So thank you for being so candid about, how you approach culture and hiring. And it's really insightful and something that, in my opinion, many of our tourism operators could maybe do a slightly better job of.
Lean into more, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, lean into, yeah.
Lean
into. All right, so now somewhere along the way, you start another business, which I would like to just touch on briefly, and then we'll come back to Maverick and where you're at today. So talk to me about, how this all happened.
Yeah, totally. Grow tourism. So in 2022, so we had COVID, 2020, 21, 22. We were still very much in recovery mode here in New Zealand. And the kind of over here, we did a lot of introspective kind of navel gazing within the industry. We kind of thought about, how do we want to come out of the pandemic? How can we recover quickly and in a kind of a high quality way? And what are the challenges industry has been facing pre-COVID that we can use this time to address essentially while borders are closed? And so at the end of 2022, we had an entity here called Go With Tourism. They were a kind of a workforce attraction organization trying to attract more high school students into tourism training and development, and helping to connect people who wanted to go into tourism with roles in the industry. And so they were very much active during those COVID years, and they held a wānanga at the end of 2022. It was a tourism wānanga that unpacked all of the workforce challenges industry had been facing pre-COVID. So challenges around attraction, challenges around development and retention, and helping people to change the way that they saw the tourism industry, not just as a seasonal role that I'll jump out of and go get a proper job, all those kinds of things. So we had 2 days of this awesome hui, this awesome chat. And one of the outputs, or one of the kind of aha parts of the wānanga, we were split into groups and we had to present our ideas to the tourism minister. And it was all very university. It was very, I found it very fun. It was very fun. lots of blue sky thinking and all those things.
Mm.
And one of the outputs, well, one of the ideas that my group had was around workplace training that really does the industry justice and is more closely aligned with what it looks and feels like to work in tourism, and more closely industry-led and industry-fed, right? So tourism training in the past and somewhat currently is quite separate from industry. So more bite-sized, dynamic, modern, exciting learning experiences that help to do our industry justice and helped people to see how much there is in tourism, how many places you can go, but also help them to build the skills that that would then drive the outputs in tourism that we wanted. Sustainable tourism outcomes, higher value tourism experiences, all of these good things. So it was kind of this idea for a more dynamic, more modern tourism training offering. That did our industry justice, that made us feel really proud to be a part of the visitor economy. And like, yes, this industry is amazing. Oh my God, these modules were epic. These courses were so cool. I can't wait to develop more or, go for a promotion or upskill further or whatever. So that was, in its essence, that was the birth of Grow Tourism. And because of my work with Maverick, I've got really awesome networks with all of the brilliant operators that make up a lot of New Zealand, a bit of Aussie and South Pacific tourism industry, right? So I had all of these operators who were just as motivated as me to address these workforce kind of challenges, workforce training challenges. And I leaned on them heavily to help influence the learning design of these courses and of these modules. So every course we developed would start with the case study, would start with the tourism operator themselves, and then their answers and the way that they were approaching this particular topic, be it more sustainable tourism outcomes, be it marketing, be it people and networks, all of these things. Their feedback would help to shape the course content itself. So we didn't create the course content and then retrofit the case study. The course was built around the case study.
Right.
And that's how we created this learning curriculum, so to speak. And it was all online with a little bit of AI integration at the end with some self-reflection training assessment pieces at the end of each course. And that was our core curriculum. And then we looked at partnering with other organizations in tourism to help supercharge the work that we were doing and help to supercharge the way it could be delivered to the workforce itself. So we partnered with Queenstown Resort College on one project, Hospitality New Zealand, Tourism Industry Aotearoa, all of these awesome organizations who help to build the impact of what we're doing. So it's been interesting launching a startup in the middle of a pandemic. And it's been interesting trying to build up Grow Tourism and kind of build it into this business that solve these problems, I guess, over the last couple of years. We're still building and we are still refining what we do. But, I see myself as working now in tourism delivery, which is Grow, delivering the experience and delivering the product, so to speak.
Yep.
But then also attraction, which is Maverick and the digital marketing, direct sales side of things. So delivery and attraction is how I split it up in my head.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's all elements of the spectrum.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, what made you think that you were the person to start Grow Tourism, already being, obviously a successful business owner and during COVID? Because we all have these ideas and these great, insights. So yeah, what was going on in your head during that time?
I think I was so inspired after the Wānanga, and I guess I felt like I had a really unique perspective on what was needed. Being, you know, being a storyteller, being tech savvy, being high energy, all of these things, having these awesome networks of businesses who I knew would be keen to feed into this work. So I felt like I had a really unique perspective, and I think I was probably up for another challenge.
Okay.
Maverick is my first business baby, absolutely. But we've got Zach Watson as GM, and he does a fantastic job. And I, while I work in the business a little bit currently, I'm not overly needed, and so it was just cool to see if I could try my hand at a new challenge. I think, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for answering that. Yeah. I think it is a little bit addictive, I suppose, when you when you start a business and then you just see a hole that needs to be filled.
Yeah. And I think when you
to
get really passionate about it as well, and I want tourism to be seen as a brilliant, exciting, fulfilling career choice from from high school all the way through. I was lucky to fall into this industry, but I don't know if I would have ever discovered it had I not had that dinner with that friend all those years ago.
Yeah, and I mean that's the common thread, of all these conversations I have. That I think Zach might have been one example, and I think I've perhaps had one other example of someone that spent their entire career in tourism that actually planned to get into the tourism industry.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we all just fell in.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a huge export industry for New Zealand, and and Aussie and globally, and kind of deserves better. So it's so
I
important
agree.
to our country, and it kind of deserves better from that perspective. So
yeah, I completely 100% agree, but I'm not going to get back on my soapbox about that.
Well, you're making a difference with this podcast, Carmen.
I hope so. That was the goal.
You're moving the needle. Yeah.
All right. So let's whip back around to Maverick. So these days, how many staff have you got, Alex?
We have 12 staff right now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Full-time staff?
One is part-time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost based in Auckland.
Yeah. Did you say mostly based in Auckland?
Yeah. One's Gisborne and one is Papamoa, but all
okay.
North Island currently. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so you obviously have, remote and or hybrid working. Yeah.
It works quite well. In Auckland, we do over a fortnight. We'll have 5 days all spread out the fortnight in the office, and then 5 days at home. We have done this for like almost 3 years now, and it just works brilliantly. And I'm always shocked by other businesses and other agencies who don't offer that flexibility, because for us, we have the collab, the face-to-face, the energy, the connection time. And then my working from home days are so productive because I just sit there with my headphones in, and I smash out outputs all day, and I'm not as distracted as I am in the office. So the marriage of both is wicked. Yeah.
I'm really pleased to hear. I think that that's something that, and not all tourism businesses can do it, because we somebody needs to be there to, throw somebody off a bridge or, drive a jet boat.
And check them in and do all those things.
Yeah. But for organizations in our industry that can do it, God, I wish more of them would.
Well, it helped us to retain one of our senior staff members a wee while ago. He was shoulder tapped by Google, and the money and the perks that Google can offer is very, very different to what Maverick can offer. Probably cool workplace there as well. But it wasn't a flexible role at all. Like the work from home what wasn't really there, and this person loves to leave work early, go pick up the kids from school, hang out with them for afternoon tea and do dinner, and then jumps back on after dinner. And that works totally fine for us, and that works totally fine for them. And I think it was so cool to hear that, like, this doesn't stack up as a proposition, because I love the flexibility and the work-life balance I've got going at Maverick. Yeah, it was just really cool to have built a company and to be embracing the values that make life good, that we can offer, I think, to our team.
Yeah. I wish, that is a wish of mine, is that more organizations in our industry that are in a position to be able to offer remote or hybrid working do so, because
totally. We have this thing where we do contact hours, right, which works really well. So whether you're working from home or from the office, you've got to be contactable between 9:30 and 2:30 if you're not in a meeting. And that just means that there's 5 hours every day where you know that the rest of the team's online, and you're going to get a real fast reply to anything urgent in that 5 hours, right? You could start work at 7 and you could finish at 2:30, or you could start work at 9:30 and finish at the other end of the day. We don't care. It doesn't matter. Get the work done, but just be contactable in that window. And then we all know that anything urgent gets solved quickly. The comms are great. And it's just the same for everybody across the business. There are really cool mechanisms to make it work. There's lots of ways to make flexible work easy and effective and productive,
Yeah. Well, this is music to my ears. I could keep talking about it, but I'm not going to. All right. So I'll start to wrap things up, but can just tell me where is Maverick at today? What are you up to? What are you seeing out there? Have you got more holes that you feel need to be filled? Like, what is Maverick now, and maybe into the future if you've got
totally. I guess I'm really proud of what we've built, but I also feel like we're just getting started. We have finally reached or are about to reach our pre-COVID numbers here in New Zealand. I know, Aussie, you've reached them years ago, but we've struggled to get back to the same industry size as it used to be. And I guess demand for travel is not getting any less globally. It's the opposite. It's growing, right? And technology is becoming a bigger and bigger piece of every tourism operator, every destination. How are they showing up online? What does that user experience look like? How are you getting in front of people at the right place and the right time? All of those good things. And I guess with digital, we are kept on our toes massively, especially this year. Google announced two big changes 2 weeks ago, basically removing all the blue website links in a Google search. So holding users in a AI chat, basically, to answer queries rather than pushing people off to websites, which is what organic search traffic is for lots of our clients. So there's so much change happening. And I think the relevance of having people who you trust, who will support you to embrace best practice and make the absolute most of the digital space as an operator, that role is going to become more and more important. It's not going to become less important over the coming years. Basically just trying to get ahead of all these technological changes, and trying to be the lighthouse for the industry in the face of massive transformation, I guess. It is such a fun industry to work in, tourism, and the marketing and the development side of it it's changing so quickly. And so, I love coming to work every day, and I know that, I hope lots of my team does too, but it's a cool time to be in tourism marketing, and it's a cool time to be a part of this growth and this global hunger for our industry, which is a cool place to be,
It almost seems, Alex, and I might be wrong here, but that an organization like yours is becoming more and more important because of the change, the rapid changes.
Yeah. Well, I
You know,
mean, doing digital well is no longer a nice to have. It's absolutely crucial to the long-term success of any tourism business or destination. You need to embrace digital and have a strategy around technology and the way you're leveraging it and the way you're approaching distribution really, really tactically over the coming years. Um, so yeah, I mean, we're just loving getting our heads around all of the changes and supporting our operators to embrace them and not be scared of AI and not be scared of massive organic search transformation and all these things over the coming years. Yeah, some of the businesses we work with are just incredible. Can't get past how fun they are as clients and how brilliant their brands are and how ambitious their goals are. It's quite an honor to be partnering with them at the moment at this time. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, amazing, Alex. All right. Just before we wind up, have you got anything you'd like to add at the end? Or I hadn't scripted a kind of finishing question, but I wouldn't mind if you can, go back to sort of young Alex, who's maybe going, I don't know, I'll give it 6 months. I've just got back from Rio. Do I keep doing this thing? Do I not do this thing?
Yeah.
What would you say to her?
I think keep being really brave and keep going after the stuff that makes you excited to go to work every day, because that's where the gold is. If it makes you excited and you're passionate about going to work and sitting down and doing whatever you do every day, you're on the right path. So just don't overthink it. Be brave and keep chasing what makes you kind of come alive, and you'll find the right path.
Thank you. All right. Now, have you got anything else you'd like to add?
Oh, no. No, I think I also just wanted to point out how interesting it is that how entrepreneurial our industry is as a whole, and how, my story is not unique. There are so many people out there that have, that are brave, that are taking risks, that are chasing what makes them come alive every day, in the face of some pretty big challenges as well. So I just, I'm not unique in this space, and aren't we lucky to be a part of an industry that attracts people who are entrepreneurial and are keen to have a crack and build something special. We're really lucky.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Alex. And thank you for everything you do. And thank you for just being a beacon out there for the industry. It's really, really, really important work, especially for our industry, and as you touched on, I think the strategy part of your digital presence is where I see operators either struggle or actually not even contemplate. I've got a website, why isn't it working? But they haven't actually developed any strategy around it. So it's really important work that you do. So I thank you for doing it, and thank you for being brave. And I hope you continue to be brave, which I expect you will. And I look forward to seeing what you and Maverick and Grow get up to in the next decade.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Thank you. All right. I'll see you later.
Bye, Dom.
Bye.